but you ask me real life questions that your people, my people, and where we come from need to hear, because a lot of people are told if you don't have education or if you've been to jail or you have a felony, it's over with. No, it's not. I can stand on the side of many doctors and attorneys and businessmen and bankers and guarantee you they don't have the financial profile that I have. Hey, listen, Amaru, you told me when I come to London to pull up to ADTV. I'm here, open the door, and let's see what you about. Let's get to it. You was doing all that talking. Now let's have a conversation.
Where did the business acumen come from in terms of like structuring the deals, lawyers, the right terms?
So Ray J, I would have credited Ray J as my first client to give me a shot.
But why did he pick you then?
Well, at the time I had came together with DJ K Slay, which was New York radio. And DJ K Slay is the godfather of mixtapes. He the one started putting those out and doing those things. So I met DJ K Slay. So me and K Slay had a bond already. And Ray J knew I had New York radio. This is before the streaming, any of this, right? YouTube, none of this, right? So the fact that I had access to radio, right, was a plus, New York radio. I still was growing within radio. Then I had my brother, Speedy. He turned me on to introduce me to Joe Isgro. Joe Isgro, if you do the research, he's one of the last Gambino family members standing that was active back in those days. Legal man, great guy. He actually had went to federal prison because of radio, thing they call payola, right? Documented, right? So he had ventured off into movies. Hoffa and all that, that's Joseph Isgro's movies, right? Outright. So he blessed me with his radio team, a guy named Steven Russo, which filled in the blanks on the overall market, right? With Speedy, he introduced me to my business attorney, Simran Singh, right? Of Sing and Sing. He's an entertainment company. They have entertainment, civil, criminal, you name it, right? So I kind of had a makeshift team that I hadn't really put to use yet. So if you look at the back of All I Feel, the album, the A&R that album of an R&B album is DJ K Slay, right? We kind of went behind everybody's back and dropped Sexy Can I. They wanted to leave with a ballad called All I Feel. I said, Slay, drop Sexy Can I, leak it. Back then it was a leak thing. He's on Hot 97, the drama album, Shade 45, right? Leak it. So he leaks it and it takes off. But even prior to that, there's another gentleman named Mark Stevens who was business manager as a sports agent to Shaquille O'Neal. So the All I Feel project, that Ray J project, came out under Deja 34, which was Shaquille O'Neal's label. He didn't really give a damn about R&B music. So he kind of let Mark Stevens oversee it. So he was the face of it. You had Alan Grumback, back then it was Koch Records for distribution, myself and DJ K Slay, right? And that's New York radio. That's Wack. Wack 100 hadn't been birthed yet. That's Wack on the West Coast to oversee the project. And we got K Slay back, Shaquille O'Neal back in the project, and Mark Stevens, the business guy, going in there. Because I'm still cleaning up from the death row rhetoric, right? And that's how that came together. I took over management for Ray J, and I was learning it as I went. I was winging it, brother, as I did everything else. I'm a guy with a GED. I don't have a high school diploma. I don't have a college degree. I was winging it. I'm more of a visual learner. If I can see it, then I can understand it. And if I have people around me, I can ask questions. A dumb question is a question that's not asked to me. And I'll ask you over and over again until I understand it and I get it. So we were successful. Sexy kind of took off. And at that time, Ray J gave me the management position and we rolled off into reality TV for the love of Ray J, So now I'm booking shows and we're doing all this miscellaneous stuff, booking features. I'm understanding how that work, paperwork work, things of that nature. My wife at the time is doing all the paperwork. She's understanding the contracts, right? Where, I would get a contract from the attorney and I'll look it over and then we will just continue to use the same contract. Whether it came to a song, whether it came to a show, whatever it was. Understand the writer, putting together the writer, things of that nature. My guy, Greg Miller, who I didn't realize at the time was Games guy that taught me about writers and stuff like that, right? So from 2000, that was like maybe 2006 to maybe 2008, we dropped Sexy Can I, then we just started picking up the other little bags. I was doing real estate market fell at the time, about '08. And I was always a guy that reinforced the hustle. So the trucking was their primary. The real estate reinforced the trucking. The management business reinforced the real estate. So when real estate fell out, the number 2 spot, then the management business went to the number 2 spot. So now I need something to reinforce management. So about 2010 is when I ran into Game. Game was doing LAX. And I credit Ray J for letting me in the business, giving me the opportunity to manage. But I credit Game for the global blow up, right? Ray J wasn't big as Game when it comes to his movement. Yeah, Game's touring globally. He got a big situation. Everything's times 10 with him. His studio setup, his bookings, the producers he's dealing with, right? So, and at the time he was being managed by Czar, Jimmy Henchman, my man Tony Martin was managing him. And Game kind of told me, look, you eat what you kill. I'm not supposed to do this, but whatever you bring to the table, but it's on you to make it work. My man 2T's from Nickerson Gardens, who's now head of security for TDE, right, made that introduction after me and Game had been acquainted on the street situation that I helped him out on, not because he called me, but one of my partners, Brisk, on the west side of Compton, called me. It was a situation going on with some G-Unit guys. I happened to show up. One of my guys is with me now, Lil John, out of Fruitown, showed up with me, and we was able to rectify a situation. Game didn't forget it. I didn't forget it. And when I reached back to him, right, it was 2T's from Bounty Hunters who set the meeting, arranged me to meet Game at Encore Studios. He raps about it on Jesus' piece, the song called The City with Kendrick Lamar. When he tell you, let me tell you, I met my nigga Wack. In the beginning, it wasn't always good. He was rolling with Suge, right? All that. And when he says he went in his pocket and gave me everything he had, I started managing a guy named Stacey Adams, right? Again, something that had came through Speedy. I needed a feature. So hit 2T's, oh man, could you make that happen? Come see Game, talk to him yourself. When I walked in the studio, he was in the booth. He motioned me to come in the booth. I came in the booth. He went in his pocket and gave me everything he had. I'm like, I don't want that. I need a feature. Keep that out of respect of what you did for me, and I'm gonna give you the feature. And then that's how our conversation started.
So entrepreneur, you're now in the industry. You're managing global artists. Your kids are growing up, but this is one thing that I'm trying to learn myself is I don't feel there actually is an actual balance, and I wonder how, when there's so many things going on, how do you keep the focus? Because things don't always go according to plan, things always change. Yeah. Managing artists I don't know how people do it. It's like, so you see someone that's quite, you can operate in a chaos, but you're trying to have structure. But I'm wondering, how did you exist in that period?
Well, it's being able to humble yourself. Like, okay, all my artists from the streets, even Ray J himself. He from Carson, he Carson Amaru. Game's a Compton Amaru. Blueface is a schoolyard Crip, right? And if you look at all these dudes, when it comes to street ranking, right, they all gonna be under me. right? Blueface, Crippin, even in that, I'm still an OG when it comes to where he stands at today. But even as their OG, I still don't let that get in the way of me understanding and respecting the fact that when it comes to management, that I work for them. So it doesn't never come down to, well, I'm your big homie, this is how it's gonna be. I will try to convince you, sway you. But at the end of the day, you're gonna call the dog, and I'm here to facilitate, not dictate. And I think them understanding that they had the best of all worlds in me. We got a big homie with us and know how to deal with shit. He can deal with the street politics when they come. And he's humble and understands that I'm the boss when it comes to my business, right? You know, it's not too many managers, right, that's gonna get in the paint with you. They're in that building. There's only probably one other guy I know like that. And that's my man Snake, right, out of Atlanta. That you will see him in the paint with his artists. You know what I mean? You know, my artists go to jail, something happens, and it's a holiday, you know, it's hard to get to that building. You know, they gonna call me and my bail bonds are gonna beat them to the station, right? When my artist goes to court, I'm in court. Yeah, I'm in court. You know what I mean? By the time he called me on his last situation, I was halfway to Vegas on the highway, right? So, you know, I'm still gonna handle my artist as if I would handle my homeboy in the streets that needed me, right? I'm not bigger than the program. I don't care how much money we make. I don't care what it is. If we gotta, if it's not warranted tour bus, we gotta jump in this SUV and go do our job, then I'm gonna do it right with you. I'm not gonna send some people sit back and let you go through that. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it is. Like, because of my upbringing, growing up in Pacoima, California, coming from that, right? I'm rooted in that. I haven't gotten so far away from it to where I forget about how to operate, right, in that. So listen, if it's good, it's good. But if we gotta stay in the tent tonight, I gotta do that too. If we gotta sit around and we gotta wait for a flight, I know how to do that too. I haven't brainwashed myself to where I'm better, I'm too good to do that. And all my artists, all of them live a great life, but when it's time for them to, hey, listen, we gotta get on this tour bus and we gotta hit this spot, change your clothes, you can't get in the shower, wipe down because we gotta hit another spot, right? They don't have a problem doing it.
I want the Clubhouse thing. So, like,
Shout out to the 100 side.
Yeah, I mean, you're running it over there. What is the passion for Clubhouse for you? Because like what you're doing, and like I'm saying, like you're giving out information that, like, if you put a monetary value on it, you can't. Because you're talking about 7-figure deals, you're talking about real life. This is not theory.
It's really not for me, but it is. Because even through Clubhouse, I'm here with you. You know my daughter from Clubhouse. You contact her there, she contact me, I'm here with you, right? I think it's my way of coming back down the hill and being with my people. And what I like about Clubhouse, it doesn't restrict me to my block. I'm on there with people from Nigeria, from Germany, from the UK, from Europe, from Asia, Crips, Bloods, all around the United States, regular people, regular mothers, regular guys, you know what I mean? Hustlers, people that's just getting out of prison that's trying to find their way, that need information on trucking, who ordinarily wouldn't able to be able to get to me. And as an exec, a lot of people get there and they close that door and they don't come back down the stairs. They either leave from the helicopter on the roof or they taking that private elevator. I'm going to still take the stairs because I remember when I was one of the ones in the staircase. And people may have counted me out. And because it was an individual like Ray J, who says, I'm taking the stairs, and I'm like, hey, I got a question. Hey, listen, I can give you some help with that. Oh, okay, cool. Because of that interaction, and them making themselves available, right? I was able to elevate, right? Plain and simple. Game is an underdog guy. He's gonna select the underdog to come work with him. to do a feature with him, to come to the studio and watch him do what he does. You know what I mean? Blueface, you know, and what I respect about all my artists is, for one, they're fathers, they're providers, right? And they make their own decisions. Nobody can tell them anything about me that they can, like people can't tell me nothing about them. And they always try. Oh, Game, why you? Oh, Ray J, why you? Oh, Blueface, why you? Because they're going to say, not only is he a brother to me, he's a provider. And I know right now if I went into a coma, my bill's going to get paid, my children going to be taken care of, and everything going to be what it is when I get back to normal. So I think Clubhouse to me is me making myself accessible and finding some diamonds out there that's in the rough. You know what I mean? People got questions, brother. And sometimes we as a people go through the struggle, and when we don't have to struggle, we forget about the struggle, and we don't make ourselves available to our people. Then you go up there with the people who didn't give you chance, who didn't give you opportunity, who wasn't cheering you to keep going, and you become them. And when you become them, then you're not helping us.
That's true. The controversy of like some of your choices, most notably people talk about 6ix9ine a lot, and obviously the unfortunate incident that happened. But for you, is that primarily business motivated? Because it seems like there is a compassion to him as a young man, but there's obviously a great business opportunity. So what led for you in that situation?
Initially, it was a meeting, an interview that academics hit me, and I've been trying to do some business with academics for quite some time.
You were on to him sometime, yes. Listen, you used to be on to him.
Damn near a year and a half. But you know, people in academics here, stay away from that dude. That dude's this, that. And I tell a lot of people, when you get to know me, you'll realize how many people really don't know me. So Act called, I showed up, and you know, I felt like 6ix9ine's not a threat to me. I understand him. My initial blame is not placed on him. Coming from the streets I come from, if you are that, it's your responsibility and your obligation to know what to let in and what to keep out. And they, the ones allowed that in, right? So, you know, I didn't really hold him accountable because I told him I seen you as a civilian. It's like this, brother. I said, let me use your car. You let me use your car. And a week later, the laws knock on your door and say, hey, your car was used in a robbery on this day, right? I cannot expect you, the man that has told me, hey man, I grew up, I'm not a gang member, street guy, I had both parents in the household, I had a great life, this, that, to then take the gangster's role of silence. See, that's something that's bred into you, that's instilled into you. That's a hard and a manipulation of your mind to become that way. It's no different than a soldier, right? If the guy in the office is captured and they're torturing him for intel, there's a 99% chance he's gonna give up the intel. But if you go capture a guy that's a Navy SEAL or a Green Beret, special ops, there's a good chance that he's gonna die before he gives you that intel, right? Stop looking at 6ix9ine like he's a fucking Navy SEAL, right? You know what I would expect you to do? What day? Wack 100 had my car that day. Yeah, I let him use it. And that's what I would expect you to do. Now, who's to blame? The young man that's doing what he was raised to do? Or me, the guy that takes a young man's car and commits a crime, knowing it's gonna lead back to him, for him to do what he was raised to do? Those guys will blame you. I will blame myself. I see it different. I'm a wolf. I'm not the sheep. And I'm a wolf that will help the sheep. Because just because you're a sheep doesn't mean you need to be threatened by the wolf. Because even the wolf can lean on the sheep. Because when the other wolves come, those sheep, believe it or not, can camouflage you, my brother. Why aren't those sheeps moving? He can't be over there. If the wolf was over there, they would be scattered. But if I'm a wolf that comes in peace and say, sheep, I feed over here. And I'm gonna let you feed over there without me feeding on you. But there may come a time in a day where I may need to mingle amongst you for whatever reason. Please know I come in peace and please graze as casual as you would have if I wasn't amongst you. So, I understand politics and positioning, the position of the chessboard. I don't like to be behind the 8 ball. I like to be ahead of the curve. See, I like to get ahead of the curve, then come back. So when I get to the curve, I know what to expect. You know what I mean? So that's just what it is. So within interviewing him and meeting him and conducting business, I can't front. I've learned to like and respect Danny. He's a cool guy. My kids like him. You know what I mean? He's a cool guy. He's been respectful. I've never heard him mention a gang slang or talk about a gun, nothing tough around me. It's always business. And he's very creative. He's very intelligent. And they can say what they want. He knows how to take a negative and turn it into a positive. His last situation, he won. People mad at me. What do you mean he won? He got his ass whooped. No, he didn't. He walked out at 130 pounds, taking a beating from 3 grown men. He walked out and wasn't carried out. And 5 days later, these guys are in jail. Father and son, an idiot, and some other gentleman. And his wife has a GoFundMe saying, help me raise the money to bail him out. He takes the footage from the hospital, put it in a Latin goddamn video, drops it, and does 6 million views in 48 hours. He won. Now, he has the heart of the people. Have you been seeing his interviews?
Yeah. I've been seeing the videos he's doing in Africa as well.
Turned. So the very thing you guys were trying to accomplish with humiliating and violating only helped him. Right? So, shout out to 6ix9ine. You know what I mean? Doing this thing. He's a great guy. He gives me opportunity. If he likes it, he likes it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. He tells me straightforward. He's always conducted himself as a gentleman with me. So I'm going to hold him responsible for how I know him. Now, will I go do a robbery with 6ix9ine? Or we going to get in the car and go kill somebody? No, it's not going to happen. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
In closing, just a couple of questions. One, and it's not about, you don't have to speak on numbers, but what's the biggest deal you've done? And the process of negotiating a broker and a deal, it can go left, it can go right. But what's the biggest deal to date that you're...
The biggest deal to date I've done in this closing was probably on the diaper side, 178 million. Distribution deal in the Middle East. Through my guy Sam, he runs Brave Energy Drink. He's from Bahrain. Set up distribution through one of the royal families of Bahrain to distribute to 10 different countries.
And you met the family?
Talk to them. We meet when we ink the deal, but it's done. They're building a facility for me in Bahrain. I only have to come up with $600,000 of the money. It's a $30 million facility for manufacturing. So we can then, outside of China, manufacture there. I'm supplying American jobs for the Bahraini citizens. They'll control 70% of the workers, and then I get access to 96 visas to give to my people or people in different countries to come work there.
That's a very big deal, like the way it transcends different
Yeah, so,
things,
Incredible Diapers is something, it's like kind of like Walmart, Sam Walton. I probably won't live to see how big it gets because it's a bigger dream, a bigger goal. It's just not about the distribution of diapers. I created this thing called Incredible Kids. And shout out to Nick Cannon, my brother, who allowed me to use the Incredible name brand, allowed me to license that out. I did a licensing deal with him. I haven't asked him for any money. He's agreed to do some photo shoots and some marketing for me. And I believe if I needed something, Nick would be there for me. But I've been pretty good about pushing this thing along myself. But I have this thing, this idea, Incredible Kids, again, going back to the community, right? From the childbirth of me putting your children in these incredible diapers, who's absorbing is incredible, crazy, right? To taking families out of the projects in the streets and say, listen, we want to look after your child. We want to place you in this community where this school district is at, and we want your child, he or she, to attend these schools. We want to assist in raising your child. Your child is a part of our Incredible Kids program. And as we raise this child and we see that this child advances in math or advances in science or advances in other things, then we want to home in on that and make sure that child continues to soar in that. And we want to sponsor this child once you get to college, right? And put this, okay, we want this child to go major in this or that, this. And once that child graduates, now the other kids in this family aren't forced to grow up in the ghetto because we're sponsoring this child as an incredible kid. We've broken that cycle. Now this child, instead of coming out of college with a $300,000-$400,000 debt because we've covered the bill, now he's coming out clear with a job opportunity of 6 figures to come work a position at one of our various incredible plants, which allows me to look and I can foresee we got 60 of our children graduating in the next 3 years, okay? It takes us 28 people in these solid positions outside of the basic workers to run a plant. So now it lets me know how much I can expand because I'm not reaching to just people in the streets. I'm raising, right? I'm raising my empire, which is their empire. So that's my dream, and that's how it's structured, and that's what it will become when it comes to Incredible Diapers.
Do you know, look, all these things I'm taking in, it's so inspiring because look, like I'm saying, like we hear the confrontations on Clubhouse.
Wack 100.
Yeah, but I feel like
that's an entertainment name. If you go pull up gang files in the street, I ask my homeboys, anybody, these guys I grew up with, we call the baby gangsters who Wack 100 is, they gonna say, we don't know Wack 100. They know me by another name. Wack 100 was created by DJ K-Slade, who made me get on social media, right? And said I needed to do it. Wack 100 is an entertainer. You know, you don't get mad at Denzel when he plays a drug dealer. Did you get mad at Denzel when he played a crooked cop in Training Day? When he played Frank Lucas, he killed a few people, right? He, Denzel showed that he corrupted the whole New York with heroin. Was y'all mad at him? Or were you entertained by his role? Was you not entertained when in Man on Fire? Right? So if Denzel could be an entertainer's name, why Wack 100 can't be an entertainer's name?
But I feel it feels with
Nobody has died. Nobody has been shot. Nobody has went to jail. Nobody has been beaten, robbed because of the entertainer Wack 100.
Does it not ever? I mean, because whatever you just said, like in this interview, is I could see. My next question was going to be like, what's your purpose? But I could see it because that there is literally a thing that will change generations. It's a generational play, and I think the one thing that not black culture, but some of our people within certain environments is we don't have life insurance. We don't think about things like 3, 4.
Let me ask you something, my brother. An incredible plant sitting in Nigeria, sitting in Ghana, sitting in South Africa, sitting in these places they call the slums that don't have no running water, electricity. That incredible plant, because we raise some incredible kids and offer them opportunities, helps them change the ways and the course of the very place that is supposed to have all the riches of minerals, right? Why? Because we're focusing on the people. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, it's gonna help me grow, but it's gonna help our people grow as well. You know what I mean? So it's always a gift. It's a gift and a curse to it. It's a method to my madness. If I was not so loud as Wack 100, you wouldn't have reached to my daughter to sit here and learn the things about me today. I totally understand marketing. I totally understand what I need to do to get people to see me so they can hear me. If I was the guy that went to basic training for the Air Force or the Army, and they told cadets get in line, right? I'm the guy that's gonna step out of line. Did you not hear me? I did, sir. Well, get in line. I am in line, sir. You're not. Who are you? My name is Cash McElroy Jones, sir. Get in line, and you know what? You're restricted, and you owe me 10 miles of running. I'm going to accept that. You know why? Because guess what just happened?
You know what you mean?
He knows my name. Are you asking me, hey, what happened with this? We see you beat this guy down. What happened? We see you guys were involved in the shooting at the studio or the club. Are you asking me any of those questions?
No, sir.
Everything you ask me is about real business, legal business, fatherhood. My transition from being a gangster and a thug and a criminal and a convict to being I have a passport with many stamps. I've traveled the world. And I thank Game, he the first one to introduce me to that. That's my brother for life and I owe him for that, right? But you're here asking me questions from you hearing Wack 100. But you ask me real life questions that your people, my people, from where we come from, need to hear. Because a lot of people are told if you don't have education or if you've been to jail or you have a felony, it's over with. No, it's not. I can stand on the side of many doctors and attorneys and businessmen and bankers and guarantee you they don't have the financial profile that I have with a GED and I'm legal. It's not over. As long as you are in the race, your race, don't pay attention to how fast other people are moving. That's their race. As long as you are in the race, there's chance and there's opportunity for you out there to be successful. Your race is not into that casket drop and they tally up what your accomplishments was, your achievements were. Are they gonna say they're doing a car wash for you to bury you? Are they gonna say you left behind real estate and investments and life insurance to cover? What are they gonna say about you? When you're a common thug, at the end of your race, what are you gonna add up to? And that's what it's about. Right now, I'm on a mission for generational wealth, not only for my family, but my loved ones and those that have assisted me to get to where I'm at today. You know what I mean? It's about 10 people on Clubhouse who don't know it. And when the next 6 months to a year will be employed, probably doubling what they make right now because I met them on Clubhouse. And because Clubhouse is a study guide for me, I understand their personalities. I know what they can do. I know what they're capable of. They just haven't been given opportunity.
Good. So I'm gonna leave it there because yeah, like literally super inspiring, and yeah.
But don't get me wrong. I got them hands, and if you cross that line, I'm gonna meet you at the 50-yard line. Other than that, it's peace and love. Hey, it's peace and love.
Mr. Wack 100, thank you for your time. I much appreciate it.
Appreciate it. All love. I love London, one of my favorite cities. Within the next 12 months, I'm looking to live here, find me a flat. No, I love London. Because from here, I can get to Holland in an hour. I can get to Spain in 2 hours. I can get to the Middle East in 7 hours. And I want to not be here just for music in and out. I want to be here conducting business. When I see a city like this, just like New York that's moving, the shakers and bakers, I need to come here and figure out my lane and my way. It's like a challenge to myself. You know, my dollar ain't nothing over here. I want to be able to leave my US dollars in US banks and have my pounds in the English banks. So when I use my card here, I'm not getting hit with that diversion fee. So that's my challenge, and I'm gonna make that happen.